Photographers who do school picture days, what are your most cringe-worthy or strange stories of your career? I asked a fourth grader if she hurt her foot. I have a prosthetic leg. She was wearing sandals and sure enough rubber foot. I asked a seventh grader to sit up straight, spinal problems. His doctor bought a copy of the photo as a before shot for a textbook he was writing. Whatever the doctor did, it worked like a charm. A kid told my assistant that they ate their pet rabbit the night before. I asked a kid to sit down. He sat down on the floor. I told him, not on the floor, on the chair. Please point your knees at the computer. He got up and touched his knee to the computer. I said, no, sit on the chair and turn your knees, point them at the computer. I asked a kid if they wanted their hoodie to be in the picture. No, okay, take your hoodie off. No. Do you want your hoodie in the picture? No. If you don't want your hoodie to be in the picture, you have to take it off or it will be in the picture. Oh, I want my hoodie in the picture. I tapped a kid on the shoulder from behind and asked where the teacher was. She was the teacher, and I had known her for almost 20 years by that point. Asked a teacher if a severely disabled student could sit by themselves on the bench. The student couldn't, and there was a pretty hard thump on the gym floor. TLDR, the photographer accidentally overwrote my picture with a picture of my boyfriend. Picture of boyfriend followed me around all through senior year. Obligatory. I am not a photographer, but my senior year in high school I almost ended up with my boyfriend's picture above my name in the yearbook instead of my own. We had to go in for pictures about a week before school started at a specific time depending on last name. So I names went at 10, B names at 10:30, and so on. My last name and my boyfriend's started with the same letter. We lined up together, and the lady gave us our barcode cards with our names. I got my picture taken, and then waited just outside the picture area for my boyfriend. I watched as the photographer neglected to scan my boyfriend's card, took the picture overwriting my picture, realized the mistake, scanned the correct card, and took the picture again. I asked him if I needed to do my picture again, but he waved me away. A few weeks after school starts, we got our ID cards. Well, everyone but me. One of my friends was an office aide, and he was cracking up every time he looked at me at lunch. When asked why, he said, "You'll see." I was called to the office and shown my ID card, which had my boyfriend's picture on it. They wouldn't let me just take it, and said I had to do picture retakes. Throughout the year, the picture of my boyfriend was associated with my name in the school's computer system. I got a lot of double takes from new teachers who would look at the name and picture when calling roll, and then see me and be confused. Somehow my retake picture ended up on my ID but nowhere else. The yearbook only ended up with my correct picture because I had a friend on yearbook staff who caught the mistake before it went to print. The picture company did send me free copies of both my pictures and the ones of my boyfriend though, which was nice. Wow, a post I actually have experience in. Guess there won't be a better time to stop lurking than now. Here's a couple of my favorite stories. A preschool kid was particularly difficult to get a good picture out of. Really cute kid but just couldn't get a good smile. After about 20 attempts finally he just kinda relaxes, looks off into the distance behind me with this awesome natural smile. It wasn't until he got off the stool and walked away that I noticed a stain on the back of his shorts and a terrible smell of feces. Still kept the pic. Apparently nothing made this kid smile like a good shit. On a middle school registration day shoot, some kid comes up wearing a Naruto headband. I asked him to take it off and he told me he wore it for religious purposes. I knew perfectly well he was bullshitting me, but I didn't feel like making it a big deal. I just told him he'd probably regret it in a couple years and snapped the pic anyway. One time there were identical twins wearing the same outfit, let's call them Doug and Jeff. I had to take a couple shots of Doug and then just one of Jeff. Ended up accidentally deleting the pic of Jeff, so I just relabeled one of Doug's pics as Jeff. One day my co-workers and I were at a shoot and needed to get our lunch out of the car. We accidentally triggered an emergency alarm, and when school staff showed up we said it was a kid and that we sent him back to class without remembering to take down his name. Two of my male co-workers would always try their hardest to be the one to photograph the attractive teachers. It devolved to the point of literally sabotaging each other's equipment, unplugging lights, moving stools, etc. As the lead photographer, I had to reluctantly end this warfare. Female teachers all say the exact same things when sitting down for a picture, my co-workers, and I would bet which ones we would hear first. Here are some examples. Can you Photoshop 10 pounds off of me? How many years does this camera take away? Do you guys have a hair and makeup team? This was about as annoying as when every adult says remind me to stay off the road. When you get your license. We printed PVC ID cards and had many competitions on seeing how far we could sling them, and often this turned into high-intensity ID card shuriken throwing battles. One of my favorite impressions to do is the weird shriveled lady from the SpongeBob chocolate episode. What are they selling? Chocolate? What? Chocolate, ma, they're selling chocolate. I did this impression one time for a class while taking their group photo, and later in the day a squadron of teachers came back and chastised me because students were yelling chocolate in their classes and it was spreading like wildfire through the school. Apparently common practice for cleaning up vomit in schools is pouring sawdust on top of it and waiting for it to absorb the vomit, making it easier to clean up. Twice in my career I had students slip on the vomit-infused sawdust. One proceeded to vomit alongside the original vomit pile. Sawdust was used to remedy the situation, this time with a caution cone. My personal favorite story: we used gel linings over the background light to change the color of background, example blue, green, brown, purple, etc. Early in the morning a small Hispanic student was led in by his teacher. I was helping my co-worker by changing the gel lining according to the parents' wishes. I ask my co-worker without thinking, what color is he? To which he responds, brown. It wasn't until I saw the teacher's face that I realized she thought we were calling the student brown. I had one kid who was not happy with his picture after around 30 pictures. Typically I called it around 5, but he was ordering a pricey package and I wanted him to be happy. After a while he admitted he was trying to get out of a quiz he wasn't prepared for. We had a hair light that we were instructed to turn off for bald people to prevent a glare off of their scalps. It was kind of obvious at times, and I once had an on-campus police officer tell me, "Keep it on, I want to shine this year." Middle school girls will 95% of the time hate any photo taken of them without even processing it. When I was feeling particularly lazy, I would flash the light and show them the same picture repeatedly until they said I got a good one. Sometimes I would give kids completely random nicknames just to confuse their friends, make them laugh and get a good smile. I once overheard a kid proudly telling his class members that his new nickname was Ham Sandwich. I once had a kid who thought it would be funny to have a chewy granola bar sticking out of his shirt pocket. I told him it would be funnier if he removed the wrapper first. There is now a picture of a kid with an unwrapped granola bar in his shirt pocket in a yearbook somewhere. Unrelated-ish. It was a common way to pass time on the job by looking at funny names. There was a kid with the last name Sprankles, and I told my coworker it sounded like how someone from the hood would say sprinkles. For months in the office, when I asked the coworker for things, they would ask, "You want that with sprankles on it?" Glad I could share my experiences with you guys. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe.